Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
So you people have seen the video lectures I have sent or uploaded in the last 2 days. Any questions on that?
Sir, could you again talk about heuristic weight update? Sir? Didn't understand that.
Okay, fine. Yeah, anything else to discuss?
Not on the past two, but before that on the training neural networks one. You for the gradient descent, sir. In that you were deriving dou zk by dou ij. You did a sum over all the ones, sir. Can you explain that again?
Okay, right. Anything else? So you people have seen expectation maximization video lecture as well? Or not yet?
I think most of us didn't, sir. Like I checked the YouTube only 24 views.
Okay. So let us do one thing. So let us complete the discussion on neural networks. Any doubts you have on neural networks? Okay, today I will discuss after the discussion of those things, I will discuss about linear regression. Okay, and then possibly logistic regression. We will continue the discussion on expectation maximization and clustering. Okay, on Monday's class. So that actually, I hope that by that time everyone will watch the video lecture of EM. Okay, and K-means clustering. K-means clustering can be very simply stated as a clustering algorithm. But bringing that from expectation maximization will give us a overview of how it has developed. Also, expectation maximization is a very quite generic technique for clustering or unsupervised classification. So, and it's widely used. So that's why I started discussion from expectation maximization. So you people can look at it, understand what expectation maximization is, and then what K-means clustering is. And you can ask the doubts in that video lecture in the next class, Monday's class. So let us today discuss on the neural networks. Any doubts you have on neural networks? And then I will discuss about linear regression and logistic regression. So after completing these discussions, so probably by Monday, if you are done with all these discussions, okay, Monday class I will start on convolution neural networks. So after convolution neural networks, I will try to convolution neural networks. I will try to discuss a little, and then I will try to discuss some applications of convolution neural networks. At least one application. Classification anyway is a direct application. So I will try to see if I can discuss one more application of convolution neural network. Okay, segmentation probably. That's where we probably conclude our course. Machine learning for image processing course. So any comments or points or discussion needed on the overall course content that we in the small classes, set of classes we have. Okay, so fine. So let's go ahead like that. So I'm still not very sure whether I will be able to offer next semester deep learning for computer vision or not. Because I think it appears that some first year like primary course also maybe need to be taken, elective course. So, but if you people, you can, even for you, I am not very sure how, because MTechs will not have any course next semester. And BTechs, I am doubtful. You also have elective or not. You also don't have, I think. So in that way, I think it's may not be of high demand. Any comments on that?
We have department electives next semester, sir. BTech.
Okay, you have one department elective next semester. Okay.
Two, sir.
Okay. Two.
Yes, as far as I know, two we have.
Two department electives, is it? You are which year? You are third year, right? Oh, third year, second semester now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, third year, first semester, you have taken this departmental elective. Next semester, you have 2 electives, is it?
We are right now in third year, second semester. Next will be fourth year, first semester.
Ah, yes, that's correct. Right. That's what I'm thinking. So fourth year, first semester, you have 2 departmental electives.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. That's fine. So, but I think so image and video processing is other course that I'm thinking. Between image and video processing and this deep learning for computer vision, I may need to probably decide, or we may need to decide even collectively in the department. So, what's your thought? What's your preference?
Deep learning.
Yeah, fine. So let us see if I can float deep learning for computer vision. Let us see. So only thing is, first year MTech students will be there. So if they have enough other electives, I will float deep learning for computer vision, giving more preference to you people. But I think image processing and video processing may be not very apt for you, right? So because many of you have taken computer vision and anyway, machine learning for image processing. So that may not be very suitable elective for you, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Isn't it like basics, machine image processing and video
Yeah,
processing?
image processing and computer vision, image processing and video processing is basics, correct? Basics of image processing. That's why I'm thinking of for first year MTechs. But if for first year MTechs, if there is other course, probably I will skip that. So I will skip and take deep learning for computer vision. Deep learning theory and applications or deep learning for computer vision. Either of these I will. I can take probably. Yeah, there, if I take that course, there is a provision to discuss RNNs and GANs or even transformers or any other recent developments also in deep learning and computer vision, and discuss thoroughly on the backpropagation and convolutional neural networks, recurrent neural networks, all those aspects, theoretical and application aspects of those. So I think probably let us see if I can take up that in place of this. Okay. Fine. Let us resume back our lecture on machine learning for image processing. I will first start the discussion with the clarifying some of your doubts, and then we will move on the discussion on other topic. Okay, so 2 questions specifically were asked. One thing is on the chain rule, that is application that is used to update the weights of the input to hidden neurons. Okay, so that is dose A by dou W Ji. So as in the first case, when you try to do dou J by dou W Kj, when we wanted to update the weights of a hidden to output neuron, in that case, what I have mentioned is, if you are updating any particular weight, okay, if you are updating a particular weight, then if you are this particular weight, if you are updating, or any particular weight if you are updating, so let us consider this itself. Okay, so if you are updating this W Kj, if you are updating, then the update of this only depends upon Zk. It doesn't depend upon any of Z1, Z2 and Zc other than Zk. That is the reason when you update dose A by dou W Kj, the summation term doesn't come. Okay, that's the first thing that we have discussed. Second thing, if you are updating Xi to Yj, this weight update. Okay, so any of the Xi input to hidden neuron Yj connection. So if you are updating Wji now, what will happen? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you are updating this, what will happen is that, see, this Yj is not only connected to Zk, but this yj is connected to all z1, z2 and zc. And thus, when you are adjusting this weight, okay, you are trying to see the variation of j with respect to this weight. If you change this weight, yj will change. If you change yj, z1, z2, zk all will change, zc will change. And effective cumulative effect of all this will get changes in j. That's why the summation terms doesn't go away. That's the first thing you should understand. Okay. So then when we apply chain rule, so that's why when we apply chain rule, you can't simply write, okay, dose A by dose ZK into dose A by dose YZ alone. You can't write dose A by dose ZK into dose ZK by dose YZ. You can't write just like this because each ZK is there, okay, in the update. So this has to K equal to 1 to C has to be written. This is in fact equal to dose A by dose ZK. Okay, you have to write like this. Or dose A by dose net K also you should write like this. Okay, so that's what I have written in the subsequent derivation. Okay, as you can see here. Okay, dose A by dose YZ when we want to write. Okay, dose A by, yeah, this summation is still there. You can see dose A by dose YZ is equal to, in fact, what we have written here is dose A by dose ZK into dose ZK by dose YZ. Not just this, but summation K equal to 1 to C. Okay, that's there. This is what we have written. Okay, that's what you can see here. Is this clear or not? The sub components are substituted and you get this. Yeah, is this clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine, good. Okay. So then the next question, somebody has asked on the heuristic weight update. See, usually what will happen, as I said, in a neural network is that when, see, all the neurons may not be contributing to the output. Okay, some neurons may be very well contributing. Some neurons may be just hanging like that. Those hanging neurons may have non-zero values as well. And if they have non-zero values, they keep perturbing the cost, okay, in the weight space to this side and that side and like that. So what we want to do is we intentionally want to make them zeros. The advantage of making them zero is that even if you consider as a output function, that is the ZK, okay, as a function of F2 of something, okay, and F1 of something, and finally as a function of input, okay, a polynomial function of input. These are all weights, FW1, FW2, right? So these are all set of weights you connected between Ji, and these are Kj, okay, input and hidden and output, okay. So with these many weight elements, this is connected. So it's roughly a polynomial function of reasonably higher degree, okay, of x. Zk is related to xi like this, right? Hope this is understood. Now, if I make some of the weight elements to be zero, the degree of polynomial will come down. And hence, you will get a more generic curve than a very crazy and war-fitting curve, okay, as the solution of decision boundary. So that's the reason why we want to knock off the non-contributing weights. One way of doing non-contributing weights is nowadays people use dropouts where they completely leave some of the weight elements, okay, to zero and take the effect of only other weight elements and keep randomly doing it. Okay, and whichever are effectively helping in updates, in the sense that whichever has the weight updates come bigger, they will retain. Whichever has small weight update term, they don't contribute. Okay, that's other way of doing dropout. This way of heuristic dropout is at every iteration, what I'm doing, I'm making this slightly smaller than what its value is. Okay, so 0.99 times WT plus 1, if I'm doing at every time for WT plus 1, it is slightly under value. So because of that, what will happen? if this is already 10 power, say something 10 power minus 2, it will be even more smaller. It will be even more smaller. Over time, 0.99 power 10 times, okay, 10 power minus 2. It will be 0 itself. So that's way how I am knocking out the weights which doesn't have enough contribution from the weight update. Okay, that's what we are doing. Is this clear?
So then what about the second equation where you written Wkj plus 1 equal to 0.99 into Wkj?
Okay. Okay. So what you are saying?
The first equation will decrease the Wt by that amount, right? The gradient.
No, see, if I consider this as first equation, okay, and this as second equation, okay, second equation will decrease. First equation will try to use the gradient. If the gradient is good enough to take it up, or it says that it is significant weight contributing to the weight update or the cost function, then first equation takes over the second equation. If first equation is dummy, in the sense that the slope is very small and not changing, okay, in that case, first equation becomes dummy and second equation takes to 0, takes that weight to 0.
Yes, sir. Now got it.
Yeah. Okay. So which equation dominates is what is decided. If gradients are good enough and the cost function itself is dependent on it, first equation takes over. If gradients are just like randomly around oscillating around very small values, then second equation takes over 2, 0. Fine.
Yes,
Sir, but
Yeah.
what if the weight update is not changing? What if the first equation is valid for a purpose, like the local minima is already achieved?
Yeah, that's what. That's in that case, that weight, corresponding weight becomes 0. See, that it depends upon. If you are saying that if the weight is already significant, okay, then for all the weight elements, if W is already significant, even playing 0.99 times of W doesn't change it greatly to 0. But if the W is small and if the dose by dou W is not playing, then second equation takes over.
Yes, sir.
Is that clear? Right. And for all the weight elements, it will not be same, right? So some weight elements will be higher, but still they may be close to local minima. Some weight elements are just very smaller and spurious. So those will be knocked off here. It's anyway, as the name indicates, it's heuristic weight update. So it doesn't strictly follow a specific like rule. It just helps us overall to knock off many unnecessary weights. A few of the necessary weights also may get damped a little, but I think a weight update supposed to take care. If they are going slightly in other direction, okay, dose by dou W again has to take over.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So anything else to discuss in neural networks? Training or implementation aspects? Okay. So if nothing else here, let's move on to the discussion on logistic like linear regression. Because so far what we have discussed are classification methods. But in some of the problems, more than classification, okay, finding an output variable is important. In the sense that in classification, what is our target? We want to, if we have some set of input samples, we want to put these samples to one of the class. In some problems, finding out a particular output value may be of more importance given the input information. Say, for example, finding the cost of a land in a given place, or finding cost of a house, or identifying predicting some temperature, or any real variable. Okay, some such problems are all posed as regression problems rather than classification problems. Okay, so regression can be either linear regression or logistic regression. In fact, it can be nonlinear regression as well. We will see these things. Okay, so what essentially assume that I have some again features, input features method, and I want to find out an output variable. In this case, this output variable is not a class label. Previously, we were having for class 1 plus 1, for class 2 minus 1, and so on. Okay, and this is the case in general for classification problem, but for regression problems, it may not be the case. So essentially, we all want to find out an output variable, which is a real variable. Say, assume that we have, say, this is a apartments. We want to estimate the cost of apartments. Okay, and we know number of bedrooms. We know square feet. Okay, and we also know some index of say locality. Okay, so for example, if we say that our floor number, okay, for us to have a better real value here. Okay, based on that, we want to decide the cost. Okay, so let this be 2, and then this be say 1600. Okay, and then this be third floor. Okay, and in some case this may be 3 and 2200. Okay, and some values we may have. This may be say 4th floor. Okay, and so on. Okay, so we have some set of input features collected, and we need an output cost value. So this may be some 40 lakhs. Okay, in lakhs, and this may be say 55. Okay, and so on. Assume that some values are given. Now, what is given this scenario? What is expected is in some new data. Say if we are given that we have 2 bedrooms here, and then maybe 1800. Okay, and then maybe it's in first floor. We want to find out what its cost is. Okay, so such problems of estimating the real variable as output variable are done in regression framework. Okay, so essentially what say without having any terminological aspects, if I ask you people to do this, what do you think you will do? Can you give me some intuitive solution? How should I approach for this problem? Any idea on this? Say we want to approach in a simpler way. I need some inputs.
We can plot all the points that we know on the graph. And then
Okay, very good. So the good. So one input is given by one of you is you can plot all these things. Okay, in a graph. Okay, so if I have them, but only thing is I 2 features I can do conveniently. So let me take any 2 features x1, x2. Okay, just for x3, let us leave it. Okay, assume that it's not very much dependent upon the floor. Okay, so let us take x1, x2, and then the input this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4 and so on. This may be say each is 500. Okay, 500. Okay, and then 1000. 15,000 and so on. Okay, assume that some different scale we have for this, and then we keep for each sample. Let us put some things. Okay, so let us put some variables, and then what should we do? Given this, what do we do? Given this, what should we do if I have a test sample? Okay, so test sample is somewhere here. Assume that. Okay, and test sample is somewhere here. Okay, what should we do now? Yeah, please complete.
we can follow along the points there. We can trace their path, maybe fit a line.
Okay, so we can follow along the path. Okay, so if we assume that if we want to linearly fit it, we will fit these linearly, and then say that wherever it gets the projection on this is the value of say cost. So essentially it's like linear fit in the sense that we want to see a connection between, okay, the y is equal to what. So linear, can you give little bit of mathematically how should I relate? Here I have put a straight line, fine, but what we want to do it actually? So costs are not shown here. That's the problem. So it's in the sense that it's not linear line as it's shown, but cost will be in 3 dimensions, right? On the cost, I should put a fit, okay, not on the XY plane, right? Correct or not?
Yes.
Yes. So how do I relate first cost? Why I want to relate to this X1 and X2. What suggestion do you give me for relating y equal to y in terms of X1 and X2? For any training sample, I just want to get a general relation or mapping between the input features and output. If I have X3 also fine. Some
We just
suggestion,
have
any suggestion here?
AX1 plus BX2 plus CX3.
Right. So we can have actually W1X1 plus W2X2 plus W3X3. And I select W1, W2, W3 such that, okay, the mapping between X and Y happens for which sample? Which sample it has to
Training
be valid? Huh? For all samples, right? So the regression error, this is referred to as regression. Fitting essentially, okay, input and output variables, or mapping the input and output variables. Here we are fitting a linear parameters to relate input and output variables. So what is the error? Can you tell now what is the regression error? I need some answer, quick answer. See, this is the error, right? So I have the actual cost YK with me. Okay, sorry, YK with me. And I have the features for each of the samples XK, where K equal to 1 here, okay, K equal to 2 here, and so on. Is it not? And this is test sample. Okay, so the error has to be less for all the samples. In fact, this is a square error. I have written here because they are all scalars. Is this fine or not?
Yes, sir.
K equal to 1 to n samples. If I have up to n samples, training samples, these are all training samples. Okay, this is test sample. Fine. So this is the regression error. But this regression error is function of what? What are the variables in mapping this regression, or the variables that will change the error or that will affect the error?
W1, W2, so on.
Yeah. Again, the vector W here, W1, W3 here, WD. If I have d-dimensional feature, X belongs to X1 to XD, then I have again W, W1 to WD. Is this fine or not? Now the question is, what is the next question? Y estimated, say in the new case, Y estimated again will be equal to W1 into X. Okay, X1 plus W2 into X2 plus W3 into X3. But this W1, W2, W3, where will they come from? Where will they come from? If you minimize this for all training samples, whatever W I get as W star, okay, that I will use as for finding the in test case. Okay, Y estimated in test case or for test sample. Is this fine or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is this fine? Okay, Fine. So now given this, now how do we minimize? That's the next question. Since you people know now about minimization, okay, how to minimize and so on, you should be able to help me quickly. Any quick suggestions here?
We differentiate G
Yeah,
omega
we
with respect
differentiate with respect to
to
Omega.
W. Omega.
with respect to W, but should I directly differentiate it? See, the problem here is I will expand it now. Yk minus y hat k, how should I write? First of all, y hat k is equal to what? See, W1, W2 is all tedious. I can't write these many things, WD and so on. How should I write compactly or crisply?
Sigma omega xi, omega transpose x.
Yeah, W transpose xk. So now the question, next question is, there are vectors now involved. So what should I do before differentiation? Should I start directly differentiating with respect to dou A by dou W? Should I write W being a vector? What should I do?
Partial derivative.
Yeah, partial derivative, fine. But can I just do this square? Can I write and in that form do I do?
Yes, sir. Transpose into the.
Yeah. So first I should write this is a involving internally some vectors as we have done before. We will write this as this into this transpose. Or this is this correct or something else I have to write?
So the transpose should come before.
Yeah. This transpose into this transpose. Okay, we can, I think, both are scalars. Okay, there is no really, it depends upon how exactly I want to put it for the next one. Okay, so now if I differentiate dou A by dou W, what will be the solution for this? See, you people know the rule of differentiation, right? So if I have f of x is equal to x transpose x, okay, and dou f by dou x, if I do, okay, so what is that you have got?
2x.
2x. Okay, this is what we have seen earlier. So now given this, do we able to do it? What is the derivative of this? Some of you are able to tell it. Will you be able to tell it? So let me see if we take y. I think transpose has to come here itself. This is x transpose x form we want to get. Okay, this is anyway W transpose is here. Differentiating with respect to W, right? So W transpose into W will come. Okay, so W transpose into W will come when I apply transpose in W terms. Okay, so now how should I differentiate? See, two ways of doing it. One way is expand it and differentiate it. That's one way. Second way is we need not expand, but we write appropriately the coefficients and so on. So which way we want to do it? Any suggestions? Okay, let us expand and do, since this is first time. Okay, so yk minus W transpose xk, sorry, into let us write the terms only which are of W. Okay, let us leave the other terms because they will become constant. Okay, with respect to the W. So we need not bother about them. So I will directly try to write the terms include like involving W transpose xk, okay, into yk Okay. Minus or plus W transpose xk into W into xk transpose sorry, W. Okay, and then plus minus W transpose so yk. So this is yk into W transpose xk, sorry, W xk transpose W. Okay, these are the three terms. Correct? Yeah. Okay, now okay, so if we do differentiation, what we have is xk into minus this xk into, just I am writing differentiation, just check if this is correct. Okay, 2 times this and this. Okay, if you do differentiation with respect to W, okay, same will come. Minus 2 times xk into yk, summation is still there. Plus, this is W transpose M into W. Okay, this is the form. Okay, so dou by dou W will equal to 2 times M into W. Okay, if this is symmetric matrix. Okay, so this is xk into xk transpose into 2 times W. Okay, and hence, okay. So if we take this is equal to summation. Please see if you people are following or not. So this I can also write W transpose xk if because this is scalar, and I can take xk out because this is common. So we can write 2 also, we can take out. So minus 2 times. Okay, and then W transpose xk minus yk into xk. This is the element product. This is all scalar. This is all scalar. Please note. You people are following what I'm trying to do here.
Yes.
K equal to 1 to n. Okay, and this is dou z by dou w. So what should we do with this? We got dou z by dou w. What should we do with this? To get w, so one way is you can equate to 0, but equating to 0 may not give you w here. See, if you write vector equations, you will in one stretch you will be able to get equating to w some solution. Okay, but this is not a vector equation. This is a summation is still here. Okay, so you can't equate to 0 and get w here easily. So the other alternative, if you can't just equate to 0, is what? For finding optimal of a j of w with respect to w. Any other alternative for finding the minima of this function j of w when we have the dose a by w with us? Any suggestion on this? Yeah, we can again apply gradient descent. So the wt plus 1 now is equal to wt minus eta times, okay, dose a by dou w. Dose a by dou w is how much? See, this is a scalar, so I can write this side or that side. Oh, please note that. So minus 2, see, as we mentioned before, as I mentioned before, usually we don't want to have the constants, okay, in the final solution. So we start with half of. Okay, so everywhere half of is there. So I will write 2 times here just for simplicity. Okay, and then again, no, 2 times dose a by dou w here. Okay, and dose a by dou w if when we find, okay, by 2. Okay, so this will be knocked off. Here yk I prefer to write yk minus W transpose xk in the final form. So I will, this minus sign and this interchanging yk and W transpose xk will be cancelled out. So I am writing here a slightly different form from the exactly same thing, but slightly different form, yk minus W transpose xk into xk. Okay, so please note that this is a vector of d cross 1 and this is also a vector of d cross 1. And where is vector here in this expression? This is vector of d cross 1. Okay, so if I am writing this update equation for a particular component of wi, then everything will be xi. Okay, only ith component of input feature will be involved. But this is for all features. Okay, here the xk and w are for all features, having all L dimensions. Is this clear? Whatever I have written here?
Yes.
Yeah. See, this is one way, by expanding and so on we have done. There is a simple way of doing it. See, if I don't want to expand and do it, can anybody suggest how to do it? See, this is anyway in the form that say f of w, okay, into f of w transpose. Okay, so when I do differentiation, what I will do? So I will write here the internal differentiation, which is minus xk, right, for w, which is minus xk. Anyway, summation is here. Okay, minus xk into here f of w and f of w transpose differentiation. The overall differentiation is f of w, that is yk minus w transpose xk. So k equal to 1 to n. This is what is differentiation for, okay, dose a by dou w. Is this clear? So I can directly write like this. So let me write again. Those who have any doubts, please ask here. This is simple way of writing. Dose a by, yeah.
Simply differentiating with the square term only, sir. With yk minus yk hat square, we could have differentiated.
Okay, so what you are saying is directly here itself I can differentiate, you are saying.
Yes, sir. Like
Yeah, see, if you want to
yk
write,
minus yk hat into,
correct, internal differentiation, if you want to write properly and then do it, you can do it. But the thing is, since vectors are involved, when you want to expand it, you have to write in this form. No, if you don't want to expand and directly do here, but take care of internal differentiations properly writing, that's also fine. No, so this here summation, whatever is here. So yk minus W transpose xk. Okay, what this one into, okay, this xk. This xk is internal differentiation. Please note that xk is a vector. Okay, k equal to 1 to n. This is simpler way of writing. This is also directly you can write. If you are clear, you can directly write it. If you are not clear, you can expand and then differentiate each term and then finally write to this simplified expression. Yeah, is this fine? Yeah. So if this is fine, so did you see this kind of expression any time? So especially this kind of expression, whatever we have finally derived, okay, this one, have you seen this? This kind of, this weight update equation. Okay, even in linear perceptron, what are you doing? What's your update? So let me write slightly this one in slightly different form. Probably you may be easily able to relate. Dou Z by dou W I. Okay, so I just want to write for or J. Okay, for jth component of weight element, I just want to update. Okay, or ith component of weight update, I want to update. Okay, so in that case, the same thing whichever I have written here will be equal to summation one. Yeah, summation will be there.
Excuse me,
YK. Yeah.
sir. There's a small confusion, sign confusion, sir, in the previous slide.
Right.
In the last equation, dou J by dou omega, in the pink one, we have minus outside and then W transpose into XK first. But then later in the blue equation, we have the opposite.
Right, correct. That's why I cancel two negative signs are there, right? So outside negative sign and interchanging YK minus W transpose XK minus 1, both are get cancelled, and this minus comes because of gradient descent, because I want to minimize, right? Because of that, this minus sign comes.
Yes, sir. But I mean, I'm referring to the pink equation and blue equation here. We have minus both times. You have minus here, but the terms are interchanged.
Yeah. See, this minus and the interchange will give one more minus, right? That minus and this minus are cancelled out. See, essentially what I'm trying to say is this dou Z by dou W is, if you want to write one more step, okay, after simplification, is equal to YK minus W transpose XK, okay, into XK. Because this minus sign and this minus, like interchanging, will cancel out. This is clear or not?
Sir, shouldn't we get a minus outside here? Because in the black equation, like right above this one, we have the YK term has the negative sign.
Okay. So you mean to say that from here to here, okay? So YK here itself has a negative term. That's what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. Minus term I have taken out. So minus term, if we take out, see if I, okay. Okay, fine. So that is fine. I think you can take it that way. Then I think this minus sign won't come, right? So this will be a W transpose XK minus YK.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. Okay. So only thing then what happens is we are trying to say that here instead of defining YK minus YK hat, okay, so anything else are we missing somewhere? Yeah. So this is the final expression we have to get. So if I'm correct, finally we should get this expression, whatever I have written, final expression. So I'm looking at, say, if we redefine it as YK hat minus YK, then I think W transpose XK minus YK will come here. W transpose xk minus yk will come here. And then also negative sign, this will come. Okay, so as per whatever we are getting here, this has to be plus, and then this has to be other sign, right? So let us check. I will get back to you on this. So exactly final expression, what should it be? So for timing, for our derivation, we are getting this. Even here, what we are getting directly, if we do negative sign, we are getting. So that's why both are same. So in the sense that this also W transpose, if we directly bring in. So what we are getting is this only here. So let us write with that for time being. Let us then see later. So what we are getting is W transpose xk minus yk into xik. Is this fine?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So why here I have written only for a particular component of yk equal to 1 to n. Okay, so weight update wj t plus 1 is equal to wj t minus eta times dou j by dou w, sorry, dou wi. Okay, so I component. See here I am using all samples together to update the weight. Okay, so that means that I am using all the samples. So if I am using all the samples for update, this is referred to as batch update, as we did before. So this is batch gradient descent applied for regression. The alternative is we can use stochastic gradient descent, wherein we randomly pick a kth sample and with this we update. So then the Wt plus 1, even if I write vector equation Wt minus eta times, if I do stochastic gradient descent, what is the difference? What will go away?
Summation sign.
Summation only will go away, right? Xk. This is stochastic gradient descent. So these two are well-known procedures to get the linear regression parameters. Once we get optimal W, is the solution for regression, linear regression. And this is used to estimate the Y using W transpose xk. Okay, test sample, X test sample. Okay, so we will conclude here. If you have any quick questions, you can ask. So otherwise, we will continue the discussion tomorrow. Okay, let us retain in this form itself. But this form, have you seen any time? W transpose xk minus yk kind of form into xk. This kind of update, weight update, have you seen anywhere? So if you relate this to linear perceptron, we have discussed. Okay, linear perceptron weight update also looks like that, except that their yk is a plus or minus 1, only class variable. Here it is a real variable. You can try to relate it there. Tomorrow we will discuss further on the regression and application of regression framework for classification as well in the next class. So any questions? Yeah.
Yes, sir. For stochastic gradient descent, do we need the learning rate to be higher than the normal gradient descent?
Yeah, I think it's. I'm not very sure on it, but I think it's not that much different. Stochastic gradient descent also takes very smaller learning rates. Usually, learning rates are of 10 power minus 4 to 10 power minus 2 to 10 power minus 4. That's usually the range of learning rates people use. In deep learning, convolutional networks, they are even lower, 10 power minus 4 to 10 power minus 6.
But the right hand side term is very small, right? So is it still okay, sir?
Right, but see, this is only for one sample, right? So you keep doing it every time. See, here randomly you pick and do for 1000 times. Okay, and this I consider as one epoch. Here you take 1000 samples. Okay, do it once. Consider as one epoch. Roughly one epoch in here is equal to one epoch here. In that way. Only thing is this is stochastically done, and this is like done in a batch wise. We are considering all samples.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Fine then. Thank you. We will see in the next class.